What's up, everybody? It's AT. In just one moment, a very interesting Friday before Christmas update on Jordan Seaton, the number one offensive tackle in high school football. You will not believe, or maybe you will, who he was seen with on Friday afternoon. We're going to get to that in just one moment. Before we do, though, do me a quick favor. Make sure to subscribe to the Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel. Little subscribe button down there. You can see it. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. We have crossed 31,000 subscribers. I think we could easily get to 35K before the new year. That is my Christmas wish. Cannot do it without you. Make sure to subscribe. All right, with that said, let's dive into the big news. The news that has kind of, I think, captivated college football over the last probably 36 to 48 to 72 hours. And that is what the heck is going on with Jordan Seaton, the number one offensive tackle in all of high school football. By now, you know the backstory. About three and a half weeks ago, goes on national TV, undisputed, Skip Bayless, Keyshawn Johnson, Michael Irvin. He says, I'm committed to the Colorado Buffaloes. And it's a great moment. It's a cool story. You know, Coach Prime pulls one out again when people didn't believe he could do it. But even in the lead up to signing day, all of the recruiting insiders kind of speculated that he could still take some more visits. And that just because he committed until his actual signature was pen to paper, none of it really mattered. And so I bring it up because on National Signing Day, you know, Colorado didn't have a big high school class, but the most important piece in there, Jordan Seaton, did not sign with Colorado. And obviously by now, you know the speculation, you know the rumors, you know the innuendo that Maryland, his home state school, he played high school ball at IMG, but he is from Maryland originally, that they were making a late push and that maybe, just maybe, Jordan Seaton, the number one prospect in high school football at the offensive tackle position, would, in fact, end up at Maryland. So that was where we last left things. But over the last probably 12 or so hours, two very interesting things have occurred on social media that maybe seem to speculate that for all the concern, he is going to be a Colorado Buffalo. The first one we did see on the well-off media social channels, YouTube. They do a great job there, headed by Deion Sanders Jr. We saw a video, Shedeur Sanders FaceTiming with Jordan Seaton in the last, who knows how long. I'm not going to speculate on when the video was filmed, but it wasn't that long ago. They were talking about jewelry. As you can tell, you know, with my fancy wedding ring here I bought off Amazon, I'm not a big jewelry guy, so it's not my area of expertise, but they seem to have good rapport, all of that. But where it gets especially interesting is that on Friday afternoon, Deion Sanders Jr., Bucky, as the kids call him, he is seen on his Instagram driving. And who's riding shotgun? Oh, it is Jordan Seaton, that number one offensive tackle in high school football. I could be mistaken. Coach Prime enthusiast, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the family is on vacation in Miami for the Christmas holiday. And because of it, probably, you know, swung by the house and said, hey, come on along for a ride. And so I bring it up because those two things, the fact that they're clearly still in contact, Shedeur Sanders is in touch with him, is FaceTiming with him. By the way, as we learned this week, it is not the only high-profile quarterback in touch with him, as Dylan Raiola, I should say, the quarterback commit at Nebraska, has been in touch with him. But you have him talking to Shedeur Sanders, and you have him hanging out, apparently, with Deion Sanders Jr., and it leads me to believe, for all the consternation, for all the concern, we now know that Jordan Seaton is probably going to Colorado. By the time many of you listen to this, maybe he has already signed his paperwork. Couple thoughts on this. One, in the bigger picture, let me start by saying this. I don't begrudge any kid for having trouble making this final decision, okay? You know, I think there's a lot of people that wish he had handled it differently, going on national TV, committing. But listen, this is a life-altering decision. I'm not going to criticize anybody if they need more time, if they need a moment, if they need to take a deep breath, if they need to step away, and frankly, if they need to consider all of their options. Because while it's easy to say, well, you know, it's a transfer portal world. If it doesn't work out, you can leave. Ultimately, this is a decision that is going to impact the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life, depending on who you are, what college you go to, what coach you play for. Are you going to be developed, in his case, for the NFL? All of that good stuff. So ultimately, I don't begrudge him at all if he needs more time to kind of figure things out and really take a deep breath and figure out where he wants to go. I think beyond that, we got to remember, 18-year-old kid, a lot's being thrown at him. I mean, just think about this. flew across country to make the national side or to make the commitment. Live TV. He's in LA. He's hanging out. Then he goes back to school. Then he's this. Then he's there. Then he's probably ultimately at home when Maryland gives him a call and he says, it might be nice to stay here. So I can't get mad at an 18-year-old kid. I wish he had handled things differently, but I'm not perfect. I did not handle things myself very well when I was 18 and was far from perfect, and certainly didn't have any sort of spotlight on me. So it's not perfect. But I still tend to think Colorado is going to be the school. Maybe it is again by the time you listen to this. And I do think it comes back to a lot of what we talked about on Wednesday on National Signing Day. One, it's a lot of what I just told you. A lot of people pulling at them, whatever, this and that. I think it's tough. Don't think it's easy. Don't envy being an 18-year-old kid. I mean, it's great to be a 5-star and have all the spotlight. But obviously with the spotlight comes a lot of, when you make those childlike mistakes of, should I have committed on national TV? I'm not really sure, blah, 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 blah. It just to me shows, this is a really, really tough decision. I still go back to what I said on National Signing Day, though. One, I think it's going to be Colorado. Two, the other thing, which I think is important, I haven't heard anybody else say, and I'm not being critical of other media members. That's not what I'm about. Everybody's doing their job to the best of their ability. But I did find it interesting. Didn't hear anybody else talk about this. On National Signing Day, everyone made a big deal. 24/7 Sports has put in a crystal ball for Jordan Seaton to go to Maryland. But it was a 24/7 Maryland team site that put in that crystal ball. And I don't know who the guy is. And I know he's credible and I know he works hard. But I said it on Wednesday and I'll say it again, is that I didn't see any of the national guys, put in a crystal ball, whether it was, Steve Wiltfong at 24/7 Sports or any of the guys at On3. And so when you're the local writer, I think he probably has very good information from the Maryland side of things, but does he have it from all angles? And again, I know he's doing the best job that he can. So I think even though the crystal ball is in for Maryland, even though there's been rumors of other schools, and like I said, Nebraska reached out, and is Dylan Raiola going to convince him to come visit Nebraska? I think he's going to end up being a Buff. I mean, it just makes too much sense. It's an area of need. Him being an offensive lineman, he obviously has very close ties with Shedeur and Deion Sanders Jr. And the young people in that building. And I think, and again, I think there's something to what I said a minute ago about the adults in his life. I'm sure there's a lot of people pulling him in a lot of different directions. I'm sure there's family that wants him to stay home. I'm sure there's family that wants him to go to Colorado. I'm sure there's family that wants him to go other places. You now, because of NIL, have agents involved, which want to be involved in the process. You have whatever. But when you look at the totality of what Jordan Seaton is looking for, the opportunity to play early, you're going to be blocking for an NFL quarterback. You're going to have a huge spotlight on you because it's the biggest spotlight, I believe, in college football, right up there with Alabama and Ohio State and whoever is Colorado. Huge spotlight on you. And you're going to be able to do it for a Hall of Famer. Remember, I still go back to Jordan Seaton the day he committed. What did he say? He said, Coach Prime has one of those gold jackets, and I want to get me one of them as well. So if there's one guy to help you navigate the agents, the business world, the football side of things, the hard work that goes into reaching your potential, I do think it's Coach Prime. And I do think, while nothing is official yet as I record, I think he's going to end up a Buffalo. We will see. Like I said, by the time many of you listen, my guess is that he will be a Buffalo as well. Appreciate everybody's support. Hope everybody has a happy holiday. If I'm not back before the holidays, I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas. But I have a feeling something's going to pop up. We'll turn on the camera. We'll get going. Appreciate everybody's support. We'll see what happens. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll be talking